Alright, we are live. This is Expedition to Ravenloft, in the 13th Age, episode 18. And we are here with Aaron, Bryant, and Matt. Matt is our new player, and Matt actually did a total 180 on his character sheet from the last time when he sat in on the session. So, Matt, why don't you tell us real briefly about your character?
Hello, I'm Vendelm Grinhammer, and what I do is I smash things. I'm a human ranger. My family, finest arcane warriors. We are able to see and act. Uh, so we don't just take in information. We are the ones who will study, we will watch, and if needed, kill something. But that's last resort. Uh, I I I walk around with my big dog. Dog. It's a very affectionate name, but I named him when I was young. Uh, the dog is good. Yeah, dog is very good. Uh, I'm a ranger, as I've said. Ex cathedral. Yeah. So I I use cleric magic. And I have Fey Queen's enhancements. So Scorching Ray. Yeah. So that's how I generally kill things. Burning, burning's good. So I've been told I'll fit in. So that's good. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell with the family backgrounds of being guardsmen and detectives and ass kickers. Yeah, that's what we do.
Alright. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, rather than continuing with our normal story. Very last minute idea. We're kind of do something of a montage of the story to date, kind of inserting Vendelm into the story as we go. But then Matt had this great idea that maybe he has been following the group all this time to deliver a message and always just misses them. And from that comes the idea that maybe Aaron and Bryant aren't actually playing their characters. They're going to play some of the other NPCs and situations to help me set up this, and it may turn into something of a hazing. Yes. So that's going to be our episode for today, and that means I'm going to bring us all the way back to the little opening adventure that really has nothing to do with Expedition. It's The Ghosts of Anil, and The Ghosts of Anil was a story. We had set this up where the players were all part of a group of I don't want to call them rangers, but they were part of groups of adventurers who were being sent into a large forest that had been taken over in recent years by the High Druidess. And they're just kind of going in there and reassuring the people that live there that, yes, they're still part of the Empire, and, what can we do for you? How are conditions since the Druidess has started doing her things? And they came upon a village that was empty. And through the course of the adventure, they discover that the villagers weren't dead and didn't abandon the place, but instead had been, by misadventure, shunted into the ethereal plane. And this is where I think we're going to have our montage start. Guys, what do you think? Bryant, you were with us back then, weren't you?
Yep.
Because Aaron wasn't yet.
That's right.
I wasn't.
All right. Um, so why don't we start with you, Bryant? Is there any spot that you feel that we can fill in here with what we're doing?
Well,
What's a good place to sneak him in there?
I think if he is a little bit late for us coming, a little late after us, he can come to the elf village after we've basically brought them back, and we've gone off into the mists. That's one spot. Alternatively, actually, being there before us, I'm not sure because they would be already be gone. So I'm not sure how much that would do. But
Well, two things stand out to me about this. Is that one? There were signs of a giant,
the big pig.
Giant pig. You guys never fought that, did you?
No. So that was the other thing I was going to say is he could deal with the big pig.
All right. Let's see what we have here. We have. Really, they don't have a dire boar. Wow, that seems unlikely.
For 13th age or something else?
Well, no, I was looking for that in 13th
Really?
age. Give me a
Really?
second.
Do they have a standard boar? Maybe you could just buff up a standard boar.
Well, I think that
No.
would be pretty easy.
I think I made one though. Give me a second. Oh, wrong project.
I could make one in like 2 minutes, but still. Oh, that's where that went.
Giant rat and give it a charge attack.
Dire Boar is in 13 True Ways.
Ah,
It's a level 5. Wow.
hey, I made mine a level 5 too. Now I've got it here, so give me a second here. Let me.
Holy hell, this thing is nasty too.
It's probably nastier than mine.
It's a large level 5.
Yeah, I did the same. Brute?
Troop, but probably should be a brute. Or wrecker. Yeah, I would call it a wrecker.
What page are you looking at?
160.
Oh. Oh, it's got a higher attack rating too. Damage is lower. Alright, well, I guess I will just... Oh, and that's not a nastier special?
What is it? Which one?
Uh-oh.
Last Stand.
The last? No kidding, right? And keep in mind, it's got a dire feature on top of all of it.
Yes, it does. Alright, well, we can handle this as a straight-up combat, or we can just do it as kind of a montage scene of how he comes across and handles this boar, which might be better, but at least this gives us something to refer to.
Well, we can do a combat scene because that'll give him a chance to get to try out his stuff.
Okay.
I would reduce it. The problem is one-on-one fights are not balanced at all.
Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to have you guys play the elf villager. She's going to come after you guys disappear into the mists.
Okay.
Or on the night that you disappear into the mists.
All right.
As I recall, we had a thing where the mists had come and a messenger had come through the mists, and you guys were kind of waiting for the mists to go away, but then after the messenger woke up, you decided you were going to risk it anyway?
Right, because he brought us a message. It was what the hell is his? I always forget his name. But it was the Vistani.
Vistani, yes.
Vistani. It was the one that.
Was it Matthew?
Yes, it was Masty, the one that Kentis may or may not have a crush on.
I think the answer is yes in that case.
So Matthew woke up. He was subjected to some advanced interrogation, and we discovered that where he was from, and that the mayor of the burgomeister of Barovia needed our help, and that we were to follow him. And eventually, we were like, okay, yeah, if they need our help, we'll go with you. And it was something to do. I remember Pierce finding something. Oh, it was the sun symbol. He had something to do with the sun symbol that Matthew kind of glommed onto and was able to convince Pierce that way.
Yeah, because Barovia is not part of the Dragon Empire, and they're not really any way related. This is kind of like an interdimensional thing. The Vistani was kind of using his ability of being widely traveled beyond Barovia, which seems inconsistent with what I just said, to try and bluff his way into our paladin's good graces in order to not be subject to any further enhanced interrogation. So, what I'm thinking is that on the day that you guys set out is the same day that Velmar shows up, and he's coming through the mists, and what he does, and he's looking at the map, and I'm putting you here, Matt. When you're looking at the map, you know the village is around here somewhere, but what the map is not telling you is that it's elevated some 30 feet above the forest floor.
Okay.
Think like an Ewok village or something, right?
Okay.
And so they have these elaborate stairways and ladders that descend to ground level, and they have these gardens built out around the bases of the trees, and the whole place is a mess because they haven't really had a chance to clean anything up yet. So you've got trampled gardens, you've got this big mud wallow where this gigantic beast had been sometime before, and any of the fences that they'd put up to keep out wildlife have been knocked down all over the place. And you hear, echoing through the mists in the trees, the snorts and grunts of an improbably large swine. Guys, you guys are going to be playing Elven Hunters. You can use your own character sheets for that, or you can just open up to any character class you feel appropriate in 13th Age and wing it. And you'll come in on the second round. And Matt, I'm going to ask you to roll initiative, and then we will figure out how this plays out from there.
Okay. And humans roll twice on initiative, right?
Yes, you may. And we may replace that with a different ability later if we find something that suits you better.
Okay.
I keep forgetting to change mine to the Dwarven one, like I asked so long ago.
All right, Matt. What you get for your initiative?
Sorry, my dice are loading.
Loading.
Which is a
Did they
problem.
crash?
My dice are loading is a modern gaming problem.
You heard it here. He plays with loaded dice.
Yes.
Cheater! You're out.
No.
Maybe you can give some of those loaded dice to Kentis. I think he needs them.
He'd probably still roll a 1.
Kentis' dice are loaded the wrong way, I think, is the problem.
Yes, they are. What are you using for dice, Matt?
D20, so I got a 15.
Okay. I meant the program that we were waiting to load, but...
Dungeons & Dragons dice roll.
Got it. Alright, guys, did you roll for your Elven Hunters too?
No, I didn't.
Not yet.
I'm just going to use my own character sheet, so.
Yep, that's fine.
What the hell is my initiative? Okay. Yeah. 10. I rolled 2. Actually, I can roll twice, so let's do that. Or no, I'm not. I'm gonna finally get the dwarven one instead. Fine.
And Bryant?
18.
Oh. Well, there you go. So, Matt, you hear the noise echoing in the trees and the mist around you. What do you do?
Swear under my breath. Look around, see if I can spot where the noise is coming from. Start putting my back towards the tree so something can't come up behind me.
Okay. So, why don't you roll roll some sort of perception check? Now, here's the thing with skill checks. Because there's no actual perception, you roll a d20. We add whatever ability modifier we think fit. And this time, since wisdom is appropriate, I guess.
Okay.
And then if there's a background that works with that, you can add your background bonus too. You okay?
I'm looking up to see if any of my backgrounds.
Well,
9 is the roll, so
all right.
11
So you had
after wisdom, and
your second background's probably the best because that relates to detective skills and that involves observation.
So 14.
All right.
13, sorry.
13.
13.
Ah. Well, you back up to a tree, and for a moment, you could swear that it was breathing. And then, as your hand creeps back, you realize that that's not rough bark. That's no tree.
Really? Maybe if I keep petting it? Good boy. Yes, who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, I'm going to name you Snorty.
So the monstrous swine wheels around, and it huffs out with this great exhale, this foul-smelling breath, that very green-smelling, kind of like how cows smell. And but this one also has a little bit of spittle flying all over the place. And its random dire feature is, oh God.
That's not good to hear.
So, what I'm thinking is my backup character is going to be this great bard. So, how did your first game go? It was great. I lasted like 15 minutes. It was pretty awesome.
All right, what's your armor class?
My armor class.
Never mind, it doesn't matter.
That's either a good thing or a bad thing.
I know. I'm like, it doesn't matter good or it doesn't matter bad.
What's your physical defense?
My physical defense.
It's a bad thing. I can already tell you.
Scroll up 20.
All right. So, it scored a critical.
Oh,
Yeah.
The base damage was 22. So, how many hit points does your character have?
Oh crap! I didn't calculate my hit points. Wait, yes I did. Hold on. Oh, scroll. Scroll. Oh wait, no, I didn't write it down. Okay, good. Oh crap.
Now it's going to do triple damage because you weren't ready.
Ah!
All right. Matt the Ranger. Here we go.
90.
90?
Yep.
All right. Well, you just took 44.
Oh my god.
And then on its second hit, so what happens is when it wheels around, it catches you on the side of the head with one of the tusks.
Yep.
And it knocks you down to the ground, and you are temporarily weakened. So until the end of the boar's next turn, you have -4 to your attacks and defenses.
Holy crap.
And this thing is breathing heavy, trying to see where you are, and just backing up slowly until you come into view from underneath its great snout. Ember.
Okay.
You guys have been in pursuit of this boar all night. It's going to be your celebration dinner for being brought back into reality from the realm of the ethereal.
Right.
And it just happened to save you the trouble of lugging its fat, ugly carcass all the way back from halfway across the forest.
Yeah, I'll just use my character sheet for this. And okay, 16, 24, yeah, 29 to AC.
That is a hit, sir.
Okay, and I'm going. Oh, if I don't sneeze first, I'm going to use a deadly assault. So I'm going to line. While it's busy goring this outsider, I'm going to line it up and just kind of really hit it with my. I'll still use my hammer. Once I get all my D8s out.
While you're doing that, let me grab the charging cord for my headset before you lose me. All right. What you
So I'm
got?
going to come in from the sidelines, and this poor bastard is getting gored by this giant boar, and I'm going to crack it over the head with a mighty hammer strike for the tune of 45 damage. Just
What?
right on.
200?
What's that?
How much damage?
45.
Oh, I thought you said 245.
No.
It's like,
To the tune of 45 damage. Yes, right off the side of the piggy dome.
All right. So, Veldum, it gets knocked to the ground with a wicked crack on the side of its head. You run up and blindside the pig from the other side while it's trying to look for Veldum. Veldum, an elf comes out of nowhere, whacks the pig on the far side. What do you do?
I'm going to Scorching Ray this jerk. The deep pig, that is. I'll pre-roast it a little bit.
All right.
Oh gosh, I only rolled a 9? Yeah. So, yeah, I rolled a 9.
All right. So to that, you're going to add your level
Okay.
and whatever modifier Scorching Ray counts for.
Okay. Because I get to choose... Okay, that'll be plus 10. So 19.
19 is a hit.
19 is a hit! Woohoo! And let me do my damage. Which actually is not going to be very impressive. 9 damage.
Oh, did you remember your -4 to attack from being weakened?
Oh, no, I did not.
You missed.
Okay.
Your fiery lance goes off in another direction. And,
My dog gets to go after me?
yep, absolutely. And it's not affected by the getting hit.
Yes.
And you really named your dog?
Yeah. My dog gets to go. And, what is it with crap rolls today? So, 12.
12's a miss. You need an 18.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
armor class, anyway. Alright. I should put something here, and dog.
Yep.
There we go. Ragnar, or rather, elf number 2.
Elf number 2 is going to jump at the pig with a sword that's bigger than he is. My great sword.
Nice.
These are odd hunting gear for elves.
I know, isn't that?
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a ritual thing. You can't just shoot it. You have to kill it with your own 2 hands. That's it. All right. So plus 10. It would help if I rolled on.
Oh my gosh.
21,
That's it.
and that's a natural odd hit. Does that do anything for me? Probably not. No, so I will carve an opening, as per the usual.
Carve a steak.
Yes, carve off some bacon. Or maybe, no, I want some barbecue, so a shoulder. That's a lot of fives. I think I rolled almost exactly average. 31, 33, 47 damage.
Alright.
I rolled slightly above average.
Wow, you guys are making short work of this. Alright. So,
There we are level 6. So.
So one elf comes by and whacks the pig by the one side of its, the blind side of its head as it's trying to locate the ranger, and then it swings around to look to see who hit him, and something bites deeply in the flank on the other side, and damaging its rear leg. So now this thing is starting to get really mad. I mean, things have been coming at it from all sides. It only got the one solid whack in, and it wasn't even actually trying to hit anybody yet, just trying to see what backed up into it. And it's like, what the hell, guys?
Opening.
So now it's starting to get worked up, and it's looking around for whom it's going to attack, and it's going to attack the second person. That's going to be Vendelm. It looks at you and says, "You, it's all your fault," and it starts pawing at the ground and starts running at you. It didn't actually say that, but that's, you know.
I was going to say, he's talking now? Holy shit.
Yep.
23 against your armor class.
23 against my armor class. That should be a hit. Yep.
Alright. So it runs past you, trampling you, and it rolls you across the ground as its legs bash you, and you take 22 points of damage.
Freaking A. Okay.
And then it swings around a tree. It disappears into the mists, and you hear it slowing down and turning around for another pass. And that brings us back to elf number 1. Ember? Bryant? I think we lost you on sound.
Yeah, I was muted, sorry.
That's fine.
I'm going to stand in front of this perforated stranger and see if I can't help him out a little bit. And I'll prepare for the... So the pig is not within melee damage range?
No, it charged right through him and is turning around in the mists.
Okay, can I delay my action? Or I guess
Absolutely.
that'd be next round, wouldn't it?
Well, you're either... If visibility is the issue, then you're either going to it or waiting for it to come to you. But you will also have this wounded stranger on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically stand in front of the wounded stranger and wait for the pig to come to me.
Okay.
And protect.
So basically, it can't touch the pig unless it goes through you first. I'm sorry, the pig can't touch the stranger unless it goes through you first.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's my plan.
Vendelm. This is probably the worst date ever.
I'm telling you. So, seeing that I have a meat shield, I will go ahead and take one of my combat healing bursts.
All right, the rally, or are you going to use your healing spell that you have from also taking the clerical side of Ranger?
Guys, judgment call, help me out. Which do you think will be better? Or is it 6 of one, half of
It's going to be about the same in terms of healing, but if you cast the spell, I think the spell is either a quick action or a free action, in which case you would be able to still do something else.
The only other advantage I see to doing the spell is that the spell is something you can use on other people, whereas the rally is something that only applies to yourself. So, and if you're not using your standard action otherwise, you're probably better off using your rally.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be dependent on whether or not I want to take another action. And since I do want to try and at least damage this thing, I am going to use a heal and then try my Scorching Ray again.
All right. So, despite getting run over by a boar, your head is feeling clear and you're no longer suffering from the weakened condition. So, why don't you go ahead and do the heal first? Roll and get yourself some health back.
And that's 6d6?
I believe it's 6 of whatever your hit dice are.
Yes, plus your con mod.
Plus twice your con mod.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're a champion here.
Should just leave the book open to the ranger. Just in case. There we are.
Plus twice my con mod?
Yeah. In the champion levels, you add 2 times your ability modifier to your healing and to your damage.
Okay. I healed 46.
Okay. And now, while the boar is turning around in the mists, what sort of attack would you like to throw at him?
I'm still going to do my Scorching Ray, because that's a nice ranged attack. And I still want to see ongoing damage if possible.
Alright. So you're kind of shooting blind here.
And I'm going to roll a 5, so it may not matter.
Nope,
I think
it
you're
does
borrowing
not.
Canthus's dice here.
Yeah, I really am.
He's really better than Kenthis.
Not that much better.
I only rolled a 9, and the 9 was the highest because it was the higher of 2 rolls.
You know what it is that you're using a die roller made available by the competitor of the people who do 13th Age, and they're punishing you for it. They sense it.
Screw you.
Nobody rolls this many dice since 4th edition. Screw them. Alright, so then we are up to elf number 2.
Okay. I'm gonna stand my ground, and I'm gonna throw an axe at this thing.
Alright.
I have 5 throwing axes, so this isn't gonna be as good. 2 plus 8. 20. Actually, put 21 because the escalation die.
Oh yes, I forgot to mention when the boar went again, our escalation die went to 1.
Okay.
So that's 16.
So that's gonna add Matt to all of your attack rolls,
But not damage.
but not damage.
Just rolls. Just your attacks. 7, 10, 13, 17, 20. 30 damage.
Ooh.
That's a thoroughly average roll there. And it's slightly above average, but
All right.
and actually I don't think I get. Yeah, I don't get any benefits from that because I think most of my stuff is melee. I'll have to double check, but either way we can go on.
Yep. All right. So the escalation die is now at 2. Wow, I can actually see the monitor reflected in that. All right. So in the distance, but not too far in the distance, you hear the dire boar shriek and yell as the missile hurls end over end into the mist and then probably hits it and sinks it deep. Then its dire regeneration kicks in.
Oh.
It's not as bad as it sounds,
Okay.
but it's still staggered, so it has less than half its life. It comes back at you guys using the charge again, and this time it follows back the path of the thrown axe. Sorry, just kind of blinked there. And that's going to be 29 against elf number 2's armor class.
I'm pretty sure I don't even need to look for that one.
Okay, so 22 damage.
Okay.
As it batters you with its tusks, and it gets a second attack in for free, and you take a really good knock that sends you reeling to the side, and you are -4 to attacks and defenses.
Okay.
Until the end of its next turn. Elf number 1. You're muted again.
There we go. How far away is it from me?
It is within. It's close. It's like within
Okay.
15, 20 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go over and swing at it, and I'm probably going to miss horribly. Plus the 2, that's a 20 against AC.
Going to hit.
Oh, okay. All right, and let's see. Since it's an odd, we'll do carve and opening, which will increase my crit range next time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 34 damage.
All right. So you notice as your weapon sinks into it that you can see all the other wounds on the flank of it and on its head, and the blood flow from those initial wounds have appeared to have been staunched down to just a trickle, despite being fresh, as the dire regeneration kicks in. After this blow, the boar stumbles, and its steps begin to falter. Vendelm, rather.
I'm going to keep going with what hasn't worked. So, wish me luck.
You cauterize its wound, and it lives to fight another day, Kenthis. Oh, he's gonna hate us.
What's its PD?
Sorry, its armor class is 18.
PD.
Oh, physical, 16. Even.
Yes! Oh my god, yes! Okay. I'm ready to run again! So, just barely hit it. I hit it with a Scorching Ray, and since I rolled an even, that's going to do 2d6 ongoing damage.
Awesome.
For now, it's just going to do 46 damage. 46 plus modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Again, like Kenthis, when you hit like a truck.
Well, I didn't roll great, so... 17 damage, but it will do the ongoing damage. So...
Oh, I thought you said 46, not 4d6.
Yes, 4... 4d6. Yes.
Alright. So, Vendelm hits, and as the fiery ray splashes against the side of the dire boar, he turns to his elven companions and says, "How do you like your pork?"
Oh, come on, you're stealing my thunder. I was about to say my quip.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Welcome to the roast.
I just imagine, and I certainly hope you can keep this up, all these cheesy 80s action puns in the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Frickin' that is why I'm here.
Stick around.
Stick around.
Alright. Elf number 2.
Oh, dog.
Oh, dog. Yes. I apologize.
Let's not forget dog. Let me just take one last look at this, because I did not properly add my companion bonus last time.
It's alright. This is
He gets
all
a
about...
plus 13, which I did not calculate it at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, dog is pretty badass.
Well, it's good that we did something a little different then.
Yes. So, yes, that is an 18.
18. That'll hit.
That'll hit. And that will do 6d6 damage. Oh, come on, roll well.
It's kind of like Ranger 2-weapon fighting from other places, except my other weapon is a dog.
My other weapon is a dog, yes. He does 19 damage.
Okay. Well, apparently he likes the pork raw because he leans in and tears a huge section of toasted, burning flesh out of the side of this thing. And the pig just staggers for a few steps, dragging its guts behind it, and then falls over. you have beaten it, and it's still on fire.
I pet the dog's head. What a ham!
Oh God!
The dog's like, bacon! All right. So Vendelm's first significant catching up to you guys is this battle with the boar underneath the elven village, and he gets beaten up pretty bad by the whole experience. But the elves want to give him something as a token of their thanks for helping them defeat the boar that destroyed their gardens and now is going to be their victory feast for being brought back. And I'd really love to say that something made from the boar's tusks would be appropriate, but what sort of magical item would be good for his kind of ranger from this experience? Aaron, you got any ideas?
Not immediately. Let me look.
Matt, while he's taking a peek, is there anything that you might consider to be a deficiency in your character, like maybe the ability to actually use a weapon?
Well, I mean, technically, I wasn't using it because I liked the idea of doing ongoing damage, but I am carrying a bow.
Alright, so that's an elfy thing to enhance, if we wanted to give you something, or maybe some magical ammunition to go with that.
Yep. I mean, the other way I could take it is a great sword. Would be pretty freaking awesome.
Well, the elf would have to give you his, and I don't know if he's going to want to give that up.
No, he's very attached to it.
How about a longsword?
Yeah, that's a possibility, I guess. Bryant, anything that you feel might make a cool gift from the elves to the ranger?
I was thinking if you do use a bow, some I guess whatever bone tusk or bone tipped arrows might be nice. Maybe magically enhance those.
Well, if you were going to do bone-tipped arrows, what sort of cool or weird thing would they do? I mean, I wouldn't want to make it just extra damage, but maybe something about the virtue of the bone, or the traits of the dire animal that would
something with the extra, because the boar does goring damage. You could have it really just rip apart whatever it goes into.
Maybe basically make it a keen arrow, which increases the crit range by 1.
That would be good.
Maybe it just hits with the force of the boar and knocks down whoever it hits, up to and including large creatures.
Staggering it.
Oh, a bow that does knockdown would be pretty freaking awesome.
The problem with doing the knockdown is there's no mechanical effect for knockdown. I would say that maybe it dazes them. That would be the closest you could probably
come.
So on a 16 plus hit, it dazes the enemy as well. That's how I do that.
They also make some bows out of horn, out of a laminate of horns. So I don't see why that couldn't be because it's fantasy, why not? Just make a bow out of the tusk.
Nice.
Right.
Or the tusks, and then you've got some of the strength of the boar in there.
That's even better than the arrows.
What do you think, Matt?
Or I was just about to put it in chat. The other thing that might be neat and thematic is a bone ring of regeneration. Because if I'm wearing a ring of regeneration, I can concentrate my heals on Dog and the other players.
All right. So in that case, I would probably base it off of the boar again, in the sense that you would have the dire regeneration, and the way that works is it only functions when the escalation die is even.
Okay.
And it heals damage equal to triple its level at the start of the turn. So you wouldn't get until the third round of combat because that's when the escalation die hits 2. But then it would work again at 4 and again at 6 if it was a real slog. And at your level, that would be currently 18 hit points every time, which isn't a lot. But if you're down by the third round, by the time the escalation die hit 2, that would bring you back up without anybody having to pick you up. And that's pretty much when, if things are going to go bad and go past that round, there's a fair chance somebody's on the ground.
Yeah.
That seem reasonable to other people too?
Yeah, it seems like a good thing to me.
Yeah, healing, automatic healing, you kind of want to trend towards lower. So 18 seems okay.
Okay. So then the really fun part of creating a magical item is that all the magical items in 13th Age kind of are inhabited by some sort of spirit. They have some sort of animus or intellect to them. And those manifest as quirks that can affect your behavior. Now, mostly it's voluntary, but if you ever have magical items exceeding your level, then we get to have some fun. And so in this case, I think that, again, because it came from the boar, that it should engender in yourself some aspect of the boar's personality, maybe poor vision, and short temper sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just like to pig out, eat yourself into a coma.
I think it's going to be, as a role-playing consideration, I think it's going to be 2 things. One kind of serious and one kind of comical. Okay? So, yep. The serious one is he'll tend to charge into danger. So, like, a running attack is going to be now a thing he does.
A reckless assault.
Yeah.
It would have to be reckless, otherwise it's really not.
Yeah.
All right.
Occasional reckless assaults.
Not that we'll ever notice, but that tends to be our modus operandi.
Yeah, which is occasionally bit us in the ass. Chernobog comes to mind immediately.
Biting people in the ass? That never happens. In a role-playing game? The hell you say?
Yeah.
All right.
And the silly one is I fucking love truffles.
and here's the thing: not only do you love truffles, but it will actually allow you to smell them out. So, like, you'll be walking down a forest sometime, and you'll like truffles. Thanks, Ring.
Guys, I'll be right back. I need to forage.
God damn it, not again.
But if we were ever making a drawback at some point, it wouldn't be just that you love truffles, but that you actually feel that you absolutely need it. Like, if you don't eat a truffle now, you will die, sort of thing.
Yeah, when it hits drawback, I'm picturing either, like you said, it will be, I really need these things to live, and of course, it's not a super common food. And the other will be, like, I might drop everything if I catch the scent of a truffle.
All right.
You're rescuing somebody. You know what? No, I've got the trail of a truffle.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, that works. So make your notes while we figure out the next scene here. So after healing up, Vendelm realizes that he just missed you guys by like an hour. He's recovering in the hunter's hut and patching up his wounds and making sure Dog's okay. And the elves are banging together this awesome bow for him. Are carving out this chunk to make the ring. And it's not a ring that you wear on your finger. It's more like a ring, like an amulet.
Okay.
All right. But you can change that if you like. But I feel that with a dire board so big, to make something so small out of it is probably a waste somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So so you end up going to the main house where they were hanging out, only to find out that you just missed them by like 4 hours. And so they tell you about the path, and this is the direction that they went in, but we don't. They're in search of this place called Barovia, but there's nothing out that way.
I'll
And
have
when you
to find it. If I can't, I'll be back. And with that, I shoulder my pack.
So when, if I remember correctly, when the party left for Barovia, they arrived in Barovia sometime as the sun was setting, and they had a limited amount of time to race to town before the sun set. And that might be something I did with the other group. I don't recall exactly. But you, unfortunately, don't have that option because you're always a few steps behind.
Exactly.
So when you enter Barovia, the mists clear, and you get a view of the night sky that looks totally alien from the world that you just came from. And as you're making this realization, this nagging feeling, and you look up and you just realize, oh crap, I'm like literally not on the world anymore. What the hell's up with the sky? You hear the chorus of wolves blowing up in the distance, and this idea that you're suddenly very, very vulnerable. But the road, it seems to be somewhat well maintained and leads off into the distance towards a town, but curiously, there's not a lot of lights on in the town this evening. You don't see like lights in windows or anything. And as you come up to the town, you discover that there seems to be an awful lot of people walking out and about with odd gaits and a funky smell to them.
Well,
And
we had just cleaned out the. I thought when we got there, we had a big battle with them, right?
Well, you had a montage to get to the center of town, where you joined the town's defenses. They had built in the center square a barricade.
Right.
And you kind of broke the assault on the center of town. After which they just kind of wandered back out away from the barricades, but they didn't leave town.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I remember it. Thank you. Sorry about that.
So, Vendelm is going to have the same issue in trying to get into the safe area of town, as he realizes that the town is crawling with undead. And rather than turning this into another combat scene, I'd like to make it another montage. But in this case, he's going to be teaming up with a couple of villagers that hadn't gotten within the town's protection, and they need the help of an adventurer to make it to the center of the town. So you guys are going to play the additional villagers, whether it's a child, a man, or a woman, somebody with experience or inexperience, totally up to you.
We can play two guys coming back from a gambling night.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Does that mean that one of us gets to play Saul?
Two guys coming back from gambling night. One of them is laughing and happy. The other one is literally not even wearing a shirt, and he seems really grumpy.
That would be Saul.
That would be Saul, yeah.
So even before we got to Saul, his life was being ruined. So I don't feel so bad about what we did to him.
There you go.
That works for me. Of course, Matt, I don't think really knows who Saul is, but that's awesome. So,
I will take your word for it, guys.
all right. So I take it, Aaron, you're gonna play Saul.
Now the soul.
All right. So Bryant, you're gonna play one of the other gamblers.
Sure.
You gonna give the gambler a name,
Uh,
or are you gonna be elf number 1 again?
no, we'll call him Martin. Sounds like a good name.
All right. So there is exactly one building with a light on inside it on the edge of town, and the moment that Vendelm trigs to the fact that these nocturnal townspeople are actually undead, the very logical thing is to go inside where the lit room is and find some shelter. And you catch the last of the 2 gamblers who were going out to the edge of town at night to try and get away from their wives to do a little off the side gambling. And everybody is left to try and get within to sneak back within the town's defenses. This is how bad their things are. They have to sneak out of the safe zone of town to find a place to gamble.
You guys have it bad.
Anyway, Martin and Saul are all about getting back before their wives discover that they're not there, and that they weren't like assisting with the defense of the town or whatever. So, because I don't think that Matt's done a 13th Age style, like from the organized play montage, I'm going to lead with you guys, and then Matt will be the last person to come up with a scenario, and we'll roll into it from there. So, in order from the bottom of my screen, Aaron, you're playing Saul. What's the first problem that you guys run into as you exit the building by whatever means that you choose to do so?
Okay, the first problem we run into is that everything seems there seems a clear path. There's a whole bunch of zombies over here and a whole bunch of zombies over here. There seems to be a clear path, and as soon as we kind of commit to that, zombies start coming out from the houses on either side. So we're kind of surrounded now.
All right. So, Martin, you
Yes.
guys are surrounded, but you spot a way out of this.
Yeah, there's the central gazebo that just seems to be empty, and I say, oh, we can take some protection over there.
So somebody's got like a yard in that section of town, and in that yard is like a gazebo, a patio space sort
Patio,
of thing.
yeah. That for some reason Martin says, oh, it's got a roof, therefore we'll be protected. It's got a roof and a 3-foot high little, railing, so therefore we'll be safe, right?
All right. But the problem is that there's a high. You happen to know that this is there, but there's this high fence in between, so that you guys are going to have to climb over to get into that yard, and this is where your skill check is going to come in.
Okay.
So you're going to roll a skill check, and if you want him to have a background bonus, you're going to have to add a spin off some background bullshit for this guy to help you get over that.
Well,
Perhaps
Martin,
because you're a gambler, you already are a disreputable character for other reasons as well.
yes, Martin has. He's a good climber because he's used to climbing in and out of ladies' windows, out in the from either the back or the side of the house. He's not a big fan of doors because sometimes these ladies tend to have husbands. And that turns out has been sometimes pretty bad for him. He has broken a leg once or twice. Therefore, he doesn't run as quickly as he used to, but he can still climb pretty well. He's used that climbing to his advantage for things like he does some lumberjacking for the town and getting wood and climbs up trees and things like that. And but yeah, his climbing, he claims his climbing skills are from being a lumberjack, but really they're just from climbing in and out of people's windows. He has some stealth because of that too, but not an enormous amount. He's not as quiet as he thinks.
Okay, that's fine.
He's gotten caught more than he's gotten away. So I'll roll a skill check. Well, 18. So I rolled an 18. So do with that what you will.
That's 18 on the die, or
yeah, 18 on the die. I don't know how you want to do the bonuses.
all right. Well, no, 18 on the die is going to be more than enough for you guys to get over that. So you guys.
You must be a very skilled lumberjack.
Saul, I told you not to have that last double or nothing hand with Miguel. Now you owe him twice the amount of money, and we're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere with these damn creatures following us. Now we gotta book it over here.
Oh, I had to. I mean, you already had my shirt, and you won't give it back.
Well, I want it. Of course not. It's mine now. It's not your shirt anymore, is it?
This is not important. Have you seen this man? And I hold up a painting of one of the characters.
And
No, I've never seen him.
Right. So, Brian, you help everybody. You point out that there's some sort of shelter. You get everybody over the fence, and you climb over yourself, and you're like, "Aha!" And I give you the gazebo. And
Perfectly safe.
Come on, guys. You've never seen a zombie attack a gazebo.
But there's another problem. So what problem crops up now that only the adventurer can get you out of?
A ghoul, perhaps? Happens to be hanging out in the gazebo?
Absolutely. You can do that. Because, as a matter of fact, written into the module, there is a pack of ghouls in town. And this...
Because we fought them later, right?
Huh?
We fought the ghouls later, right? They're the ones that if they puke on you, you stink. That's what happened to Kentis?
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Yes.
Do not get vomited on.
So this is not empty. What happens is you get over there, and Martin's all like, "Ta-da!" And this gray lanky figure stands up in the gazebo with somebody's arm in its mouth, goes, and just kind of hisses at you. It's like, "Mine! My food!" So, Vendelm, you are faced by a clear evil threat. What do you do?
And this is why I have Scorching Ray. So. Let me do...
Seems to me that there should be some sort of running gag around Scorching Ray for him. I'll have to think on that.
Yeah.
So make an attack roll.
PD.
Huh?
17 versus PD?
Yes, I believe that's going to be a hit.
Woohoo!
All right. So you don't have to roll damage because we're not doing this as a combat. All that matters is that you hit him, and the rest is narrative.
Oh, okay.
So the ghoul looks up, and he's got he's chewing on somebody's shoulder, and you flings Scorching Ray out, and the ray splashes against the ghoul, cooking the meat that he's eating. And he's like, "Ugh!" It just starts doubles over gagging because all of a sudden you've cooked all the raw dead meat that it's trying to eat. And while it's gagging and rolling around and trying to get itself right, it does its ghoul puke thing right then and there. Is trying to like purge its system. And you guys kind of run off while that in all the confusion. So
What a stench!
what? Well, you know, it was that or set a building on fire too, as the ghoul stumbles around on fire, and that kind of like tips the hand of everybody else's thing. So, Matt, you guys escape the yard, and where do you go?
Now, let me know if you want a roll for that. With my observation and extrapolation, I look for a nice, good, defensible building.
All right. So, what we're doing right now is we're setting up how we're moving from one scene to the next in the montage.
Oh, okay.
So when you tell me where it is that you're going, then I'm going to ask you to set up a complication that now Aaron's character Saul is going to have a hand in trying to circumvent.
Okay, so am I setting up the place and the complication, or just the place?
Both.
Okay, so we see this wonderfully defensible building that gets us closer to the center of town. It has multiple exits that we can get out of, but there is one small and one large zombie dog sitting on the front porch. The smaller dog is running around looking for stuff, while the larger zombie dog is just sitting there relaxing, but should the small zombie dog bark, the large zombie dog will check it out.
All right. So the challenge here is to get around the zombie dogs.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So
Okay, Saul. Pets don't like Saul. Small animals, babies, stuff like that. No, nothing really likes Saul. They have an instinctive dislike for Saul. So
babies are
what?
pets.
Yes, they're just pets that you make on your own. So he's gonna kind of lure him over to one side of the fence, so that the others can sneak in and get the doors open, and then when they're ready, Saul, since he's a sneaky, slimy little git, is going to run like hell for the door that they're hopefully keeping open for him. So Saul's going to distract them just by existing on the one side of the fence. He's going to just casually walk near the fence and attract their attention, and while the others get in, and then Saul's going to book it.
All right. Well, attracting the attention of the dogs to distract them from everybody else is not a problem. The problem is escaping them after you have their attention.
Yes.
So
Pretty much.
So everybody else has the opportunity to get into this safe, defensible location when you distract the dogs. So as the dogs are chasing you and they're running in, what is it that you do to get away from get the dogs to slip and come back?
So there's from when the party came through this area, there's some zombie parts around, and one that looks pretty fresh, and I'm gonna throw that to him like a bone, like just see if here's some fresh meat for you, that sort of thing.
All right.
So that's my plan.
Roll.
Fittingly for Saul, I have rolled a 4.
Ah. Well, Saul has to survive for the story to unfold the way it did in the future.
Yes,
So,
but he doesn't have to survive uninjured. I think Saul gets bit in the ass by a zombie.
that is so fitting for Saul.
It is.
Wow.
And it's actually a true life story, except for the zombie part. My mom got bit in the ass by a dog when I was like 10.
Oh, gosh. Your poor mom.
By a pit bull, no less.
Wow.
All right. Saul gets bit in the ass by a zombie dog.
He'll be sitting very gingerly for a few days,
Yeah.
and then he'll meet with us, and that won't see. And getting bit in the ass won't seem like the worst thing anymore.
All right. So, Saul doesn't make it back to the defensible position. He gets bit by a zombie dog, and since he can't run the way he used to, he has to scramble into the window of another building and supposedly hides out there for the remainder of the night. And you guys, having reached a defensible position, are capable of holding out there for as long as necessary until the threat is clear or gone, so that Vendelm can continue on his way. And when he does eventually continue on his way, it's because it's the following day and the villagers have started to organize, and actually it's 2 days later, and the villagers have started to organize, and during the day when the zombies are not at their best, they're going building by building and clearing out and sealing up buildings in order to exterminate the zombie threat. And when Vendelm sees his opportunity to leave and makes it into the center of town, he gets to meet Irina, who is the daughter of the late Burgomaster, Meister, and she is taking over management of the town and organizing sorties out from the safe zone in the center to do all this cleanup and everything. And she points you. She knows exactly who you're looking for. She's met them.
Those people.
Well, no, you guys don't have that reputation yet.
No, we don't have that reputation yet.
I think at this point we've only burned the church down.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Those
And
people.
that was I think that was last night in terms of game time.
And so then you guys went out of town,
Right.
and I think you went. Did you go to the? Did you go on top of the hill first, or did you go to the gypsy camp first? Because I think you went to the gypsy camp to get rid of the
stink.
ghoul
Stink. Yeah, I think that, and then we went up to the
hill.
top.
And then we came back
Okay.
to the camp.
So she points you in the direction of the Vistani camp. And here's the thing about Barovia. Unlike where you come from, where you have different races, although humans seem by far the most numerous, they're by no means a clear majority. A super majority, let's say. So like maybe 60% of people where you come from are human. But in this realm, thus far, all you've seen is humans. And the Vistani are kind of the outcasts, and they're part of that reason is because there's halflings and half-elves mixed in amongst them, which make them look strange to the locals. But also the usual gypsy rumors, and but they're pretty much the only trade that comes in from outside the valley. They seem to have some connection to the outside world, such as it is. And Madame Eva, who leads the Vistani, is very much respected, if that's the word for it, where when the villagers need something unusual, they tend to swallow their pride and go to the Vistani and talk to Madame Eva to get it. Cures, that sort of thing. And so the party was pointed in her direction to get rid of that vile ghoul stench that Kenthis got hit with. Sadly, though, you get to the Vistani too late. They're gone. In the meantime, you can do a little bartering and trading. So this is probably a good opportunity for you to pick up another magical item to help fill out your character sheet.
Okay, so I went defensive last time. I'll go offensive this time.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick up a longsword.
And the Vistani do have such a thing. And the longsword has some curious engraving on it. Bryant or Aaron, would you care to describe that engraving?
The engraving. I think I think the engraving should be very flowing, almost like an elf script, but definitely not an elf script.
Maybe it appears to move. Like when you're looking at it or out of the corner of your eye, it seems like it's almost writhing around, kind of shifting.
Yeah, I think that would do well with the Vistani, because it will, they're moving around a lot. They can travel through the various realms. It kind of fits them well.
All right. So it's flowing, but it's not actually script?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. And this probably has a tale, something to do with its previous owner. We can't get into the story right now, but perhaps Aaron could tell us what sort of person owned this sword prior to the Vistani getting a hold of it.
Let's see. So the owner was kind of a notorious thief. He's con artist, thief. He was kind of a general ne'er-do-well, and he thought that he could cheat the Vistani, and that never really seems to go very well.
And that's how he lost his sword, huh?
Yes, nobody. Well, it's not just a sword, but nobody has quite seen him for a while. The only thing that's come up is his sword, and everybody's kind of tight-lipped about where they got it.
All right. So what sort of powers, Matt, do you think that this sword might have?
Since it was owned by a ne'er-do-well, it's a special, cut purse attack. So either, I can do extra damage from stealth, or if I hit and someone has a belt pouch, it might remove a belt pouch. So basically, a video game RPG mug attack. I hit somebody, I get stuff.
How about if you roll an 18 or better on an attack, a natural 18, you can cut free a small item of value from the owner. So
Okay.
like a finger with a magic ring on it, or their purse.
I love this sword already. This is oh my gosh, wand.
Yeah, it doesn't work all the time because you got to roll that really high, but that's a 15% chance.
Yeah, no,
And
that's awesome.
it's not good against anything. It'll never trigger against somebody who doesn't have anything of value.
Right.
So that's and it's not going to necessarily carve off somebody's armor too. Not if they've got something else of value that's smaller and less destructive.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of quirk might this have? The spirit is greedy.
Yeah, I was gonna say the obvious one. I think is greed. I think that my character is gonna have a bit of a gem lust while he has this sword. And uh, if it takes over, that greed is really going to come to the forefront. But even in the background, as long as he's carrying this sword, money is much more of a motivation for him than it would normally be.
Guys, you agree on that for a quirk? Does that sound decent to you?
I think that's a
Or
good
you
quirk.
All right. The bonus on magical items kind of go by tier. So for champion tier, that's going to give you a +2 bonus on your attacks with the sword.
Okay.
And damage.
And damage. All right.
But not a miss. Only
Yeah,
on a
not to
hit.
miss damage. Only when you hit.
Okay.
So we're getting near the end here, but we're getting also to a point where I think we've got a chance to do something that's going to help him bring some new information into the game. After trading with Madame Eva and the rest of the Vistani, Vendelm, I try and use your character names, I really do. Vendelm sets off in search of the guys who were kind of wandering up the road past the crossroads, and there's, in the evening, this huge display of lights from the top of what the locals call Lasaga Hill. And you hear sounds of magic and flares of light and this chanting that seems to drift down in a possible distance from the top of the hill. And all of a sudden you hear this crashing as this large emerald-clad demon starts stomping through the woods, flattening trees wherever he goes. And he's going towards... Let's see. I'm sure somebody's going to post the link in a second to the map of the area, but I need to see it myself just to make sure I'm describing this correctly, because I always get it wrong. And you'd think I'd leave a bookmark in here, but they keep getting moved. Anyway, what happens is the this thing comes down off the hill, walking away from the display of lights and everything, and it seems to be going towards a bridge that is okay. Here's the thing, and when you look at the map here, you'll see that north is off to your right and not towards the top of the map, which makes sense because of the shape, but you know. So you see here where Barovia is, and there's a road that leads to the south, and that crosses the Ivlis River, and the road goes west, and to a crossroads, which was really creepy, but we won't go into that now. And where the road turns north again towards the Serra Pool, that's where the Vistani live. They've got a semi-permanent gypsy camp set up there in that glade right next to where the river winds out into like a lake. But when you came back in pursuit of everybody else, you went further west, and you can see where Lasaga Hill is. And you were probably to the north of Lasaga Hill, to the northwest of Lasaga Hill, following the road, when this being comes off of the western spur of the hill, and down the sheer side, through the forest, and just heedless of terrain, stamps across everything, continuing north towards the bridge that you see over the Serra Falls. And anywhere between Lasaga Hill and Serra Falls is where you see him moving through, and it's up to you as to whether you're going to follow him or not.
And from the information that I collected, is he going to where my people target are? Because I've really got to deliver this scroll.
You have no idea. They could be up where he came from. They could be where he's going. They could be anywhere between. They could be out in the woods somewhere for all you know. All you know is that they headed somewhere up this road, and that's why the Vistani pointed you in this direction.
Okay. Whew. Do I think I can make it past him if I am going to go to where he is going?
Well, because of his size, he moves pretty quick if he hits any open ground, but because he's kind of smashing down trees and being destructive and impressively strong, you could probably get around him pretty easily. You don't have to go through trees. You can hear where he is, so staying out of his sight shouldn't be difficult.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to try and move ahead of him, go to where he is going, and forewarn the people there, dudes, you have problems.
Okay. So you get to the Sayre Bridge, and you're running across it because this is open ground, and you feel that the demon is going to be breaking into the open area any moment. And on the opposite side of the bridge, you see a number of elves, the first non-human humanoids that you have seen since entering the valley. And the elves are going to take you in, and I'm going to deal with you by email as to what happens, so that when we come back next session, it'll be just before people leave Barovia to go down to the swamp. I know we played going down and into and through the swamp right up to where the next encounter is, but I'm going to have you join the group in Barovia, where you get to give them the information that I'm going to send you, and then you can kind of deal with that a little bit before jumping ahead to the encounter that we had planned for the session.
Okay.
And then you can actually act on the information once you guys are done with the next phase. Sound fair?
That sounds perfect.
That sounds great.
Okay. Hopefully we won't be bringing a lot of new people in, because this was exhausting, but I think it worked. I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, we also don't have to use the same method, too. That was
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But for just a couple of people and to help you shake out a little bit about how the character works,
Yep.
I think it was worth it. And this way we don't lose any ground on the main story. So.
Yeah, and I like the fact that magic items seem to have, purpose and weight. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. When you get to collaborate with people openly like this, I think you can get weirder stuff. I think you can get more original stuff. And I think that it makes it, like you say, more personal.
Absolutely. Anybody can have a +2 sword, but it's neat to have a +2 sword of dubious origin that makes you a bit greedy and may force an enemy to drop an item of value.
and also, we built out the background just a little bit, and now there's stuff that I could do with Saul, and I can bring Martin back in as the second story Lothario, and we had an opportunity to build a couple of NPCs a little bit that may or may not make for some comic relief later on. So that's good stuff. And you don't know everything that happened unless you choose to go back and watch the episodes, and that gives you'll have a little bit of room for information exchange because you'll have something they don't know and they'll have something you don't know.
Perfect.
So that does it for now, and then we will be back. Excuse me. Not this Wednesday, but the week after that, unless something happens to prevent this. That would make it the 8th.
What?
Ooh. I may have to, well, we'll take that offline. So, because that date may not work for me. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.